back to the Molecast. This is the Halloween special RPG game. Dun, dun, dun. We have with you myself, Fish, Greg, Sean, and Dylan, and the person I skipped over for obvious reasons, Bronwyn from ChaoticGoodCosplay. Bronwyn's a good friend of ours who's done some awesome stuff recently at Comic-Con.
I've been cosplaying for 3 years now, and I entered into the Comic-Con Africa competition, which was about a month ago. And I actually placed for representation, and I won the judges' favorites and the Eco Awards.
Tonight we are playing Dread, a game of suspense, drama, and intrigue where our players will be the monsters and they will be running from the very government.
No!
The government?
The government.
The true monsters. Aha!
Dread is a role-playing game where the players must draw from the block tower to succeed at any risky actions, and if the tower falls, they will suffer a terrible fate. In a world within our world, the supernatural exists no longer hidden from the world. A surge of anti-monster propaganda has forced many to flee the confines of the city, but the Inquisition's grip tightens daily, and soon no monster will be safe. Our story begins with 4 such creatures who have found their way to the Voodoo Bar in the hopes that the mysterious Uncle Shadow will aid in their escape. Dracula, Colwyn the Werewolf, Frankenstein,
I think you mean Frankenstein's monster.
and Vivian the Banshee. In the safety of the Voodoo Bar, Uncle Shadow tells of an abandoned railway station used by the Resistance. But before he can finish, the Inquisition bursts in, filling the bar with garlic smoke and opening fire recklessly.
Is there a back door?
Colwyn turns to Uncle Shadow, only to find him on the ground, not moving.
I pick him up.
I run
Put
to
him
try
over
and
my shoulder.
find the back door.
Through the abandoned kitchen of the Voodoo Bar, the werewolf finds another exit, just as the Inquisition storms into the bar behind him.
I'm gonna hide under a table.
Okay.
And then seeing the smoke as the door opens and he starts exiting, moving, I'll move with the smoke.
I will weave an illusion of creatures attacking them. Wild monsters. Flesh beasts.
Oh no!
There's a way out! This way's the way out!
As the Inquisition battles the illusions, one grabs onto Uncle Shadow.
Oh, he's my friend. I bring him with me.
No!
Dun dun dun.
But Frankenstein's monster pulls him free, and they escape into the street.
Quickly, into the sewers.
The what?
The sewers.
I run over to a sewer grate and try and lift it with my super strength. So get in and start running in a direction.
Oh, secret extra road.
Yes.
Cities are amazing.
Gross.
Are you mad?
Yes, now get in.
I jump down. Oof.
I'm Dracula, I'm not hiding
I
still.
will start climbing without listening to you.
I'm standing at the edge and just like looking and sniffing.
It's all slishy sloshy down here.
Yeah, I imagine it is.
My shoes are getting wet.
Fine, but I will stay.
We can try them later.
Okay.
I float down.
I can't see.
That's okay. Hold my tail and follow me.
Which way though?
That way.
Okay.
Heading through the dark sewers, beady-eyed vermin glare and hiss as unmentionable things float past. There is no sign that they have been followed, and soon they reach another exit to the street above.
I think we escaped them. Now it's up to you guys. I'm done. I don't know what to do from there.
We need to wake this guy up.
Let us leave the sewers first.
No, because if we need to stay down here, it's a potentially safer route to where we need to go.
Suppose.
Uncle Shadow knows the way. He will tell us later.
Well, while you wake him up, I can have a look upstairs. But go ahead and wake him up.
Turning their attention to the limp voodoo man, Vivian and Ted gently wake him.
Why? Where are we? What's going on?
in the sewers.
You are my friend, and I
People
kept you
broke
safe.
into your place, had guns. He saved you because, you know, he's really
You are
strong.
my friend.
And then we escaped, got into the sewers, now we lost. Hi.
Is that what happened?
Yes.
Did they catch up with us?
Yes.
And you helped me escape?
Yes.
Well,
Oh, nice.
he helped you escape, I helped everybody else escape.
Friends help friends.
Do you have somewhere safe we can go?
We can go to my shop. It was a couple of blocks away. I'm gonna crawl up and open up the manhole cover. See what I can see.
That's an apple. Danger, danger.
Darting through the darkness to avoid unwanted attention, Colwyn leads them past the abundant anti-monster propaganda to his small corner shop. Sirens echo in the night, and the streetlights flicker ominously.
Quickly, inside, everybody.
Okay.
What a droll establishment.
Your lab is very nice.
Thank you. Feel free to help yourself to any food, just be quiet. I'll lock the door behind me.
I am going to turn back into man form and peruse his wares. Rubbish.
Uncle Shadow quietly heads to the back of the shop and begins butchering a frozen chicken over a city map in the light of a single flickering candle.
I'm just pacing up and down in the spot.
Suddenly, smoke billows from the candle, and Uncle Shadow inhales it with a sharp breath. He turns towards the others and marks the map in blood. But as Dracula reaches for the map, Uncle Shadow disappears, leaving it to drift to the floor in a cloud of thick smoke.
No! Where did my friend go? Now that we
Back
have the
down in the
rail
kitchen.
station, what is next?
Well, we go 3 streets up.
They're here. They're here. We need to leave.
Oh no, they want to steal our rail station!
Yes.
Then we need to run. Come, let's go.
But it's too late. The Inquisition has surrounded the small shop, and a tall, dark figure strides out into the flickering streetlights.
Van Helsing!
The vampire hunter levels his pistol at Dracula and cries out,
Dracula, you fiend! This is the day that you will die!
Ha!
The bullet streaks through Dracula's mist form and slams into the wall behind him.
I'm just gonna duck again.
As she ducked for cover, Vivian noticed the glint of a strange blue magic on the hunter's belt. But from behind her, the werewolf yelled out,
You miss! And tackle him.
"Oof!" Van Helsing grunts as Colwyn tackles him to the ground.
Ted is kind of deers in headlights at the moment because he's confused. He stands there looking confused. He looks left and he looks right. And he's like, friends? And then I suppose I kind of like wobble over to where they're wrestling on the ground.
Colwyn and the vampire hunter swing wildly in Ted's strong grasp.
No fighting amongst friends, I say.
I've turned back into a man, and I look at them all and I say, see me. Now run.
The agents turn their guns towards Dracula and are caught by his enchanted words. To a man, they flee the dark street, and in the confusion, Van Helsing slips loose, retreating out of sight.
Please stop me, Ted.
Flee again, Van Helsing, flee! For you cannot defeat me.
Are you done fighting?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Now we need to get out of here. Run.
I do not run, but I will walk briskly.
Then let's do that. Let's go. Now, now, now.
Ducking through the dark streets to avoid the Inquisition's eyes, the map leads them to an abandoned building, long boarded shut.
I have an idea. I can run there as quietly as I can and see if there's anybody waiting for us.
I could go invisible and go and have a look.
That would have been handier.
I
But
could.
sure.
Ghosting through the front heavy doors, Vivian finds herself alone in the dark. Thousands of spider webs cross the dark corridors, and dust sits heavily in the air. But there is no resistance.
Yeah, guys, I don't think there's anyone here, but it Looks like the building itself might be the problem.
Who said that? Are you in my head? Ah!
Well, is it easy to get in?
No. But you might be able to.
Doors.
Oh, I can help with that. I'm pretty strong.
Well, by all means.
I'm not going to break through it. I'm going to try to pull the boards off, and I'm happy to put a thingy for that.
Brave wolf.
With unnatural strength, Colwyn carefully pulls open the heavy doors, revealing the dark corridor, draped in cobwebs and dust.
This is much more to my aesthetic.
Shut up and get inside quickly.
Let us search.
It's dark in the place. Are you sure this is the right place?
No.
No.
Okay,
It is according to the map.
just checking.
It is according to the map. Come, let us search for the basement.
As they searched through the abandoned building, they found a path through the dust,
At the back.
No, that'll make
leading down to a dark and forgotten subway that stretched out into the darkness.
There are no friends here at all.
Reveal yourself to Dracula!
Friends? He said it was here.
Abandoned train station. Is where we will find the resistance.
Well, it seems pretty abandoned to me.
Unless he lied to us.
The sound of footsteps above pierces the silence.
Somebody's upstairs. I can also smell smoke down that panel there.
Uncle Shadow was smoke.
Maybe we should just go in that direction very quickly. At very worst, it's a fire.
At
A
very
what?
worst, it's garlic smoke.
I prefer not to go through the
No, we're going the other way now.
But it also is probably Uncle Shadow.
If it's a
Okay,
train.
then we go that way.
What if it's a train?
Well, then we'll find out really quickly.
Okay.
Let's start lumbering slowly.
The smoke leads Colwyn to a forgotten service tunnel that branches off the dark, unfinished subway with a flickering firelight glinting off the stone ahead.
I don't know if we should be going down here.
We'll go down carefully and quietly. If there is fire, we'll stop.
Okay,
And keep our distance.
yes.
Everybody quiet.
Fire bad.
I'm just gonna imagine and be like, can't you make an illusion to make it look like we're not here?
Quickly. I am Dracula. And I am power. And I am power.
Woo!
Close it up. Close it up. It's not over yet.
Halfway there. Living on a prayer.
Dracula's dark magic fills the air, and Colwyn leads them quietly and carefully around the corner, to find none other than Uncle Shadow, waiting in a dead end with a small torch.
Uncle Shadow, we need to leave. They're behind us. We need to go now. Ah, you did make it after all. We need to go now. Now. Go.
Why you not take us with you?
He's got a good question.
But without a word, Uncle Shadow disappears, turning into darkness before their very eyes.
The shadow has betrayed us.
Always been good.
He has betrayed us.
Let us just keep moving past here.
Let us leave.
A sharp tang catches Colwyn's nose.
These people are here to kill me. I smell silver.
Silver.
I agree.
What's a silver?
It's a
Bad.
poison to me. Well, I'm going to try and continue moving past them. I have to, because we need to get out of the situation.
The werewolf sneaks back down the tunnel as quietly as he can, hoping to find a route past the agents. The corner suddenly fills with bullets, leaving him writhing in agony on the floor.
Oh, friend! And like, I sort of stomp forward like a bulldozer a bit, like grab his like body that's riddled with bullets, like sling it over my shoulder, and then just start running down the corridor.
Ted rushes in, scooping up poor Colwyn and barreling through the ambush.
Run, my dear. I am Dracula and I am tired of this. And I begin to attack.
I'm gonna scream really loudly.
Between Dracula's savagery and Vivian's scream, the agents are quickly and brutally slaughtered.
I am full again. I begin to follow after Ted. Satiated from the urge.
You got it all.
Oh, excuse me. How unsightly.
Friend!
I'll be okay, Ted.
Friend! Like squeeze. Friend!
Ted, you're going to hurt him.
Ted no hurt friend.
No, Ted's a good boy. Ted's my best friend. Ow. We need to find a place to hide. Ow.
I honestly think we should just keep going. There's
Ow.
no.
You feel less pain.
Thank you. Now let's go. Go. Ted, run. Run, Ted. Ow.
We keep moving.
Yes.
The tunnel leads to a familiar exit and into a train station that is not abandoned. Lights glare down through the smoke from above, and several people sit quietly waiting for their trains to arrive.
There's something wrong with this place.
Yes.
This isn't real. It smells like Uncle's shadow. It's smoke. This isn't real. We need to get out of here now.
I will attempt to undo these.
I like smoke.
Okay.
For I am Dracula, and my illusion magic is greater.
Dracula's magic pulls at the smoke, and as he does, the world flickers and everything changes. Dust covers the floors, darkness floods the station, and the illusion is shattered, leaving only the abandoned station behind as someone runs up the stairs.
I'm
Chase him up the stairs.
confused.
Chase
I
him
agree,
up the
let's
stairs.
chase that man.
Chase after him.
Up the stairs and into the abandoned building they chased him, as the figure ducks out the back door, just out of reach.
Am I recovered enough to
You are
actually
recovered enough to keep involved.
I'm gonna continue trying to chase.
Colwyn grasps his wounds and rushes out after the figure into the bright streetlights, only to find the Inquisition waiting for him. Out from across the street steps Van Helsing, who levels his pistol at the werewolf and laughs as he
Ha ha ha!
fires into
You
his
fell
chest.
for my trap. Well done, Mr. Shadow.
No, friend! And barrel out, scoop up my werewolf friend, sling him over my shoulder, and I barrel towards them,
Alright.
knock them all down, and then realize there's nowhere to run, so turn around and run back. Friend! We need a herbalist!
Not a herbalist. Whoa. Crap.
Just at least put him down first this time.
No, I'm not putting down my friend.
We need to escape.
We need lightning to bring him back. Through the roof!
Yes! I'm going to need a spell of a great lightning storm.
I'm gonna go invisible and try and suss out the actual troops to see how bad it actually is.
Outside, Van Helsing prepares to storm the building and reloads his hand cannon. On his belt, 3 blue bottles glow softly, and the Inquisition gathers around him.
Guys, we gotta get out of here. And fast.
We need to go move. Lightning! I say, and immediately start moving towards the staircase to the roof.
With Van Helsing hot on their heels, Frankenstein's monster bursts from the stairwell onto the roof just as the first raindrops start to fall.
So I'll immediately move over to the largest looking antenna or lightning rod and flop my friend's body onto it and like make sure he's like spread on it and like well attached. Lightning will fix it. It's okay.
We're about to find out.
Lightning strikes the antenna and Colwyn's body is violently electrocuted until it slumps down, breathing heavily.
It's alive! Alive! I fix you.
Thank you, Ted. You are bestest friend.
My friend, can you jump down there?
I'm your friend.
Yes.
Yay! We could climb. I'm good at climbing.
I carried you back north.
I'm gonna float down.
I sling my friend over my shoulders and begin climbing down the side of the building.
What's up there?
They've seen us.
Something moving up there? Shoot it down!
I dispatch the agent shooting at Frankenstein. Hey, nice girl. I sneak up behind them while they are distracted, and I murder them.
Van Helsing looks down from the top of the building, his cloak billowing in the storm.
I'm gonna try and possess Van Helsing.
Ooh.
The Banshee's ghostly body slams into Van Helsing, overwhelming his will as they look down on the fighting in the street below.
I'm gonna take the bottles and break them.
Van Helsing tries to resist Vivian's commands, but she gains the upper hand and smashes the bottles on the floor, releasing the blue spectral forms of 3 weakened banshees that flee terrified into the storm.
I knew
That
it!
needs to do.
It's time to barrel through them. Roar!
As he barrels through, I'm going to start trying to lash out with my claws and my teeth.
Ted and Colwyn slam through the Inquisition's barricade, but Dracula has other ideas.
I am instead going to stay and
Ooh.
fight.
Dracula continues to dispatch the remaining agents, allowing Ted and Colwyn to escape down the street.
Dracula. I will not be denied.
Meanwhile, Vivian and Van Helsing's mental battle continues on the storm-swept rooftop.
I'm gonna take his pistol.
Vivian manages to overcome his will, and he slowly begins pointing his pistol upwards.
Oh no!
But at the last moment, the vampire hunter overwhelms her and expels her spirit from his body. From his pocket, Van Helsing pulls open another jar which draws the banshee's essence inside, trapping her.
I want to save the Banshee and destroy Van Helsing once and for all. So, I run up the stairs. Van Helsing descends now.
Dracula!
I will never run from you again.
Yes, you will! And he starts pointing and shooting.
Ah!
Dracula and Van Helsing engage in an epic battle on the rooftop, and in the storm they brawl until they fall, tumbling to the ground, shattering Vivian's prison and killing the vampire hunter instantly. But in his moment of triumph, morning breaks, and the vampire is consumed by the dawn.
I die laughing. Ha 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 ha! Van Helsing, you're undone!
That was Dread. This is the Molecast. I am Fish, that is Dylan, this is Sean, this is Greg, and this is our special guest, Bronwyn from ChaoticGoodCosplay. Thank you very much, guys. I had an awesome time. I hope you all did as well. Remember, folks, we're at the Nexus. We're doing some awesome, cool stuff with them. Come check them out. And always like, share, subscribe, and do the thing.
Bye! Happy Halloween!
Right.